Hopefully this will restart. It looks like it's, I mean, it did the snap down. There we go. I guess we're back up. Okay. Huh. I have no idea what happened there. Dev stream just went down, but not on my end. Because OBS still said it was streaming. It didn't say it dropped frames. As far as OBS knew, it was all fine. Um, that was like some weird Twitch thing. Weird. Um, read about it using a server with Lumberyard. Amazon says roll your own or pay them, and the rates are horrid. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's. I want to look at it just to see like what their integrations are, because they're really pushing like it's easy to set up multiplayer servers and all this other stuff. Because networking is pretty horrific to try and do. So if they have good services that just let you do it really quickly, then that would be a really cool thing to try. If like you say their rates are really really terrible, then that might not be a good option. But it'll be interesting to at least try. Um, I honestly don't know if I even need Lantern to have its own thing anymore, but we'll just let it go. But yeah, it's something that I do want to. I just want to mess around with it, see what it can do, because it looks interesting, and I figure I should try as many different game engines as possible. Seriously, this is okay. I'm pretty sure this was an old hacky script that I used for the like early demos. I think I'd get rid of that. Um, really, parser? What does parser use? Oh, that's interesting. All right. Global.get inventory. I really need to get back to working on the parser too, because my parser is really well done, as I brag. Um, but it's also got some shortcomings that I would like to fix. It's nothing terrible. Things still work just fine. But I would like to try and fix it. Like add some extra functionality to make things a little bit more flexible. And coding for Lumberyard is in C++. Yeah, because it's based on the CryEngine, I think, which was the weirdest thing to hear. Like I remember reading that and double taking and being like, really, CryEngine? Okay. So I guess that's where the CryEngine went, because Unreal 4 and Unity kind of just squashed it, and I guess Amazon was just like, yeah, we'll just get in on that. Um, all right. I can probably. I don't know if I want to do that or not. We'll do a private thing for that. Close all of these things. Don't really need them. Loading, lantern, reset game, parser utility. Got so many things. Let's see. Interactive object. Aha! Just copy this. Paste it down here. Make this private. And then hit. I guess the price was right. You mean for Lumberyard or for CryEngine? Because CryEngine just kind of got blown away. Which is weird, because I remember when Unreal 4 first launched, it was pretty much a battle between Unity 4, Unreal 4, and CryEngine wasn't as popular as those two, but it was still like it wasn't a far behind third place. Um, but as soon as UE4 announced that it was going free, and Unity 5 just came out and said like, hey, there's basically no differences between Unity Free and Pro anymore. It just died. It just could not stand up to that. Um, combat item menu. Think. Oh, this is okay. Yeah, I know what this is. Since this is something that will happen rather frequently, go ahead and just do that. Do the cache inventory thing. Basically, I'm caching things if one, they'd ever be used multiple times. So I don't do it on like the level manager stuff because that's only going to happen at the beginning of the level, so it doesn't make sense to cache it. But it does make sense to cache it for like these menus because the menus don't get destroyed between scenes. And it does make sense to do it on the interactive objects because you could potentially keep doing it to the object. So it's good to keep it in sort of order like that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Crytek has been having a lot of financial trouble, so that's probably why they've just licensed it. But I don't know. I'm just curious to see what the workflow for it is. It seems like it actually has visual scripting too, because from the videos that they have talking about the engine, you can see people working with a lot of nodes. And I saw one of the nodes was like a get statement, so I'm wondering if it has a visual scripting sort of component to it, similar to blueprints in Unreal. So now if we hit play, we should have basically no warnings whatsoever. Boom. Oh, that's so nice, and it clears up our warnings too. So let's close these. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up Trello, which is another thing I've started using. It's the week of the new for me. I didn't really have a formalized good way of archiving tasks before. And now I'm going to try to make better use of Trello so that I can organize things a lot better. So let me just add a thing on Trello real quick saying that I need to fix a menu bug. This is a menu bug that I have had literally for probably a year, and I just have not sat down to fix it, which is shameful on my part. So escape. When clicking out, or when closing out, input, menu on, second play through. Yeah, as far as visual scripting goes, and I don't want to say I hate it, but I really don't like it. It really it feels too limiting, is how I would probably say it. It's not terrible, and it makes perfect sense to have it, because I mean, if you think about it, you are it's not for programmers. It's for people. It's for people who don't program. That's what visual scripting is all about. So it's a really cool thing to have, but as a programmer, it's just so frustrating to have to work with it. That was actually one of my biggest critiques of Unreal 4. Was like all of their tutorials and stuff and all of their documentation was like, do this with blueprints, and I'm like, I don't want to do it with blueprints. I want to do it with C++. And they wouldn't have a very good example of how to do it in C++, but they would have a terrible example of how to do it in blueprints. And it's just like trying to code for blueprints is also terrible because you have to have the exact same function name with just like an underscore and I don't even remember. It's been a while. It was like implementation or something like that, so that the blueprints could pick up that function, and then it was just a nightmare cycle basically. It was like twice as much code as necessary just to make it blueprint accessible, and I really hated that. Really, really hated that. I just wish that they had done a better job with the programming side of it. because you obviously, as a programmer, you want to make your code accessible through blueprints in case you ever get an artist who needs to do it, or a level designer or something like that. So you can't just say like, well, I'm a programmer, I'm only going to do C++. It's it's kind of annoying that way. Anyway, but yeah, does anyone understand Lua? Oh, and by the way, hello, 2H Strike. I want to say that there's a specific way to pronounce that, and I don't know what it is. 2H Strike. Well, anyway, I don't actually know any Lua. I never learned it because it was a language that wasn't particularly useful for my stuff. Um, I've heard it's a good language overall, and you can do some flexible things with it, but it's not my specialty. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This is going to be fun. Let's go to text quest builds. Oh boy, all of these are just going to be so terrible. I kind of want to just make a new build just to. Oof. Let me go ahead and do a new build. Call it test. I'm going to make a new Windows build. Build settings. Oh, of course it's 32-bit. Well, can't fix that now. Just going to be these guys. Let's go to build. I'm going to go to builds, test. I'm going to let that build out. It shouldn't take too long. It's only a couple of scenes. Yeah, I'm not sure on Lua's syntax. I'm trying to remember what it looks like. And let me check. As long as it's not like Python, which drives me crazy because you don't have to have semicolons. No, Python you have semicolons, but it's case insensitive. While what is it? Oh, what's or not Windows? Apple's new programming language, Swift. Swift drives me crazy because you don't need semicolons. And not having semicolons just. Ugh, I don't understand how you can have a programming language without semicolons. It just. Oh no, it looks like it doesn't have semicolons in Lua. Ah, why? Why do you not have semicolons in your programming language? It just. How do you know when it ends? Hello, Garrett. Sorry, just sort of making a quick test build to show off a UI bug that I have, but it only works in test builds, or in builds, and I don't know why. And we're gonna try and fix that tonight. And also me griping about Lua and other programming languages that don't have semicolons because they are what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say barbaric, even though some of them are newer than semicolon ending ones. Just because I feel like if your programming language is parsing out line by line, you've done something wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we got our massive freaking 100 MB things. So let's go ahead and play this. Oh, good. I even still have this on still. Blah. All right, let's hit play. And I think this will work. I don't think that it'll just show my desktop to you guys. Okay, good. It does show the. This is not good. Really, we're stuck. We're stuck already. We're stuck already. Oh my god. Okay. Well, we're gonna Control Q or Alt Tab. Sorry, not Control Q. Control Q would be So that froze. And let's figure out why. Null reference. We already have a null reference. Why do we only have, or why do we already have a null reference? Oh, you know what it is? I bet. Ah, gross. I thought we fixed this. Yeah, I just have a solid blue desktop. I am the most boring person in the world. Actually, I know what it is. It is great. I think it's program files. Actually, no, it's probably program file. I lied. Users, me, app data, local. Should be one for Sleepy Owl. Maybe it's still under Hoosier. Okay, it's somewhere around here. Sleepy Owl software. Settings, and yeah, right here. Delete that. Now let's try it. Because it was parsing in terrible information. I need to have a check for that too, in case it ever... It'll never do that when it's released, which is the frustrating part, but I... Yep, there we go. See, now it's actually fading. I really wish I had animated logos, but that's not important. Also need to update my copyright year and the copyright holder. Start. So we're going to do a new game. Chris. Yes. Normal. Right. We'll do green. Yes. And yes. Start the game. Oh wow, it loaded the textures really fast. Probably because... Oh wow. Oh yeah, I forgot I need to do the settings to actually turn on anti-aliasing and whatnot. Okay, so all that's loaded up. So now if we quit... Yes. Don't need to save the game. Go through all of this stuff again. Start. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and change my my visual options. 60 locked, frame anti-aliasing. We'll go to times 8. VSync on. Shadow distance. We'll go high. Texture quality. We'll go medium for load times. NISO filtering times 16. And we'll hit apply. Back, so all that stuff should be in there. We'll go to try continue. Yeah! It didn't load, which means that this is now busted. Ha 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 ha. Cool. So we got a null reference. So that's something we need to fix. Kind of hard for me to show you my, UI bug when I have other bugs. So let's see. What do we got? I'm not sure. Oh, right, those debugs are probably at the end. Here we go. Get string value, file name unknown. Oh, I bet it's... you know what? I guess I don't have to load a new scene, which is fine. That's right, because session is still busted as hell. But we can still... I don't have to load a previous save to show the UI bug. I can just start a new game entirely. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that those options stuck. Good, they did. Then we're going to do a new game. Call it whatever I want. Yes, normal. Right. Green. Yes, yes. And these should load faster because they should be cached. But I wonder if the cache clears whenever you play the game. Or whenever you quit the game. So, wow, those still look pretty aliased. Am I sure the anti-aliasing is on? Because these sprites are just... Like, you can see that aliasing. Let's see what the level geometry looks like. Level geometry looks fine, though. You don't really see any aliasing there, which is kind of annoying. But maybe it's just something to do with sprites. They're probably rendered differently. Anyway. So let's quit. Yes, don't need to save the game. There's your games, blah, 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 blah. We'll do start. Do a new game. We'll do Chris again. Yes, normal. We'll do left-handed this time. We'll be red. And of course I'm a hero. So that all loads, and now I'm going to hit enter. So this is the input menu. I can do all of these things. Now, what should happen is you have press escape to close. I pressed escape. Second playthrough, for some reason, it closes the old menu and immediately opens up pause. But that's not how it should happen. So if if I quit, and I'm going to quit the game itself. Oh, sorry, quit. Yes. I'm going to relaunch it. And then I'm going to go into the input menu on the first playthrough and press escape then. I'll show you what I mean. So now if I do a new game, because my loading is apparently broken as hell. Yes, normal, right, red, yes, yes. So this stuff all loads. Okay, so now I have my input screen. Sorry, not I-O, I. And now if I hit escape, it works. And then if I hit escape again, it'll pull up the pause menu. That's what it's supposed to do. So I can do this as often as I want on the first playthrough. So just enter, escape, enter, escape, enter, escape. But for some reason on the second playthrough, it doesn't do that. See, and that's what I'm thinking, is that for some reason, escape would be opening up it's like cached somewhere, so it's firing twice, basically. But it shouldn't do that, is the problem. And that's because it's not even, if I remember correctly, it's not even using that sort of setup. Because the actual thing controlling that is, I believe, menu controls. I want to say, yep, menu controls. So this is the actual class that is handling opening the menus. So you have I have an update function here. And this was written a long time ago, so it's probably terrible. I'm willing to bet. Basically, we have get key down, options, pause, right here. And that is the escape key by default. And what it says is if input view is open, close input view. If it is not, then open the pause view. Now, the problem is, one, I use get key down, which means that it's not detecting like a hold thing. It's only firing on that frame. Which means that there's some weird thing happening here. I don't know what it is. List all the states. I guess I could do that. It just sucks because this only happens in the in the build, not in the editor, so I have to make builds to test this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and debug.log that. We're just going to say closing input. And we're going to copy that, move this down here, and say opening pause. So this should show me which one's firing. And that's another thing I need to do is the in-game debug console. I'm sure that's nice. I just haven't. It's another thing that I just haven't had the time to do. I really should just try to do this full-on part-time as opposed to late at nights. But the problem is, like, what? Then I would basically just be doing the exact same thing, though I need that else. Because if I don't have that else statement here, then it's always going to fire. Yeah, because it's checking if input is open. I mean, I guess I could do like an if else if UI.get input view is open, or if it isn't open, then that would work. That would be really weird. Um, Especially, yeah. So, hooray, new build. Um, okay, fine. What do you have? Oh, I bet it's this. Yep. File, build settings. We can uncheck castle sewers. That should at least help with the build size and time. Also, should really make this 64 architecture instead of 32-bit. I thought I had it on there. It must have defaulted back to 32 during one of the updates. Boom. Taking forever. All right. So now if I launch, let's see what happens. Probably turn off that quality menu. I don't need that anymore. Haven't needed that for a long time. I think I had it on there for a public demonstration. The else if. Yeah. It's weird though, because if it's a timing issue, that means it's Unity's fault, and I can't really fix it. Um, so we'll do new game. Chris. Yes. Normal. Right. Yellow. Even though I hate yellow. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. That's working. Now if I quit. Yes. Don't need to save. And honestly, I guess the else if it would literally be confirming the criteria that the if failed. So it would just do it anyway. We'll do start again, new game. Chris, yes, normal, right. Orange, yellow. Yes. Okay. So now, moment of truth. Enter, escape, and escape. Oh, that's fun. If I press escape, if I press escape, I can't actually close the pause menu because of this bug, which means I have to type resume. Except I want to quit anyway, so no. I suppose that's true, but it's the problem is like I don't want to do it like that, if that makes sense, because then that it's still not solving the issue, just kind of like masking it. So there's a bigger problem overall that I think is causing the problem, and I need to know what it was or what it is. So let's close this. Opening pause, opening pause. Why do I have null references here? A lot of opening pauses. Um, Hold on. I'm seeing opening pause, but never closing. Um, Never closing input. Huh. This is odd. Let's see. Opening pause. It's always opening pause. It's never closing input. That can't be right. What? That doesn't make sense. How? What is? Um. Okay. Huh. Well. Um. I wonder if. Oh, please tell me I wasn't this stupid. Let's see what happens. Oh my god. Oh, that's why. Why would I even add that? Okay. Um, it's because I have it closing itself. Um, but at the same time, it's really weird because that means that it must be a script execution order thing. Ah, crap. But why doesn't it happen on the first playthrough? It only happens on the second one. Ugh. Well, great. So if that's the case, then I don't really care about this. I think I'm going to just comment this part out. Save that. Come back here to menu controls. And just let this handle it. And then let's see what happens. Huh. Feel really dumb now. Like, really, really, really stupid. Deservedly so. That was not a complex error. Right, do another one of those meta games that are starting to become all the rage. That's a thing I'm not looking forward to. I sometimes wonder if I'm a stick in the mud when it comes to to things like that. I think it's just my glowing personality. I'm the type of guy who loves to complain about everything. I don't necessarily hate it, I just like to complain about it. Except for Star Wars. I do hate the new ones. I was not just grumbling about those. But that's because of a deeper seated hatred for J.J. Abrams. So. Alright. And load up. So now let's see what happens. And if it works, I'm going to smack myself really, really hard. Because that was a stupid, stupid mistake, and it should not be that hard. But go figure. So start. We'll do a new game. Hit Chris. Yes, normal. Right. Orange. Yellow. Or not yellow. Yes. And it's nice because it's cached now, so it's like super fast. Okay, so we hit enter. Escape. Ah! Oh no! Ah! You've got to be kidding me. Seriously? Pressing escape doesn't close it for some reason. Why? That makes no sense. Okay, well, as a test, I'm going to quit. Yes, no. So for some reason, escape doesn't work unless you tell it to happen inside the freaking... inside the script itself, for some reason. We're going to do new. Chris. Yes, normal. We'll be left-handed this time. We'll be violet, I think. And yes. And yes. Super fast. Now we hit enter and escape. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So it's still busted here. But for some reason, it doesn't work here. So if I don't have it calling close inside of the input menu, then it just doesn't close the input menu for some reason. That is terrible. I wonder. I I legitimately wonder if it's a Yugui thing. Because if you notice, if I select my input field and then I hit escape, it it deselects it. I really hope that it's not a Yugui thing that I'm going to have to fight. And I closed that by hitting enter. I have two different ways to do it. Um, does the script ever get disabled? No. My menus do not disable themselves. They disable a root object underneath the script so that that never happens. And if it did get disabled, then you wouldn't see the menu anymore. You just... So... Okay. Well, let me take a look at... So we tell it to close. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, we go all the way back here. Oh, no. Never mind. That might not be too bad. Okay, good. I don't have anything special over it. Yeah, I hate Unity's text input fields. They're terrible. They are terrible to work with. Hell, I had to write like well, not a chunky, but a somewhat large coroutine. By large, I mean like maybe 10 lines, if that. That just listens for the player input because they decided that pressing enter or clicking off of an input field should count as their on-end edit for some reason. Because, yeah, clearly when I stop... Well, to be fair, I guess that's technically ending the edit. But they don't have an option or an event for, like, submit or anything like that. And just... I don't know why they make things complicated like that sometimes. Anyway. So, it's not closing the menu, which is really, really annoying. Let's look at our... Not our settings. At our log again. I'm going to come down here. And it just keeps saying opening pause. That's really weird. It just keeps saying opening pause. I'm also getting these null references, which is never a good thing. And I think that's actually not too bad. I know what that is, I think. Still. Is it because it's not atomic and it's running the input routine multiple times? No, I don't think it's... I don't think it's that. I don't understand, though, why... Oh, I have a reference to my UI.current view. Ugh. And here's the thing, like, this open input menu is part of this sort of same general structure, except it's just using the return key for open input menu. So opening the menu works, but closing the menu doesn't, which is super weird. Huh. Okay. And is open, all that means is if the root object is enabled, which is just a game object, basically. Oh. Ooh. Oh, no. That's only if I don't assign it, but all that stuff's assigned. So if I actually come to my resources UI down here, and we go to input view, we have a root, which is below our main menu. And then we have other stuff going on behind that. Placeholder label? No, that's kind of something that should probably... Oh, wait, no, that's my workaround, right? Right. Yeah, that's why it's really weird. And what's doubly weird is that for some reason it it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Wait, wait. No, I know why. I know why because I'm stupid. So before it even gets to here, this has to be true. If the player can control anything, if the current view is null, and if we're not fading, right? But these two, these are false. Because while the input menu is open, you can't control your player character, and the UI's current view is not null. That's why it never gets this far. So, God damn it. All I have to do, I think, is put this. Else. Let's put that there. Get rid of it here. And then let's let it load. Let's try playing it again. I'm going to be really sad if that's what it was. Go to File. Go to Build Settings while we're here. We're going to go to the player settings and we're just going to turn off our we're going to disable our display resolution option. Save, and then we will build. Yeah, that's a word for it. Yes, we'll just replace all that. That I can't believe I did that. Actually, I can because that. I'm not lying when I say that code is really old. It might be like 2 years old, which is almost as old as TextQuest itself. Because that was back when I was first starting out. I had only had maybe 6 months of non-professional programming at that time. So, well, yeah, no, yeah. And the more professional programming that I had done was largely not that in depth. So let's see what this does. Start. New game. Yes, normal. Right. Orange. Blue. Yes. Now let's hit enter. Oh dear. Really? Are you kidding me? I can do this. I can do this. No, I can't. Darn it, I'm not fast enough. Hey, escape works now. Oh my god. Let me think. I think I can force it to open like this too. Oh my god. E doesn't work! Oh my god. What have I done? I doesn't work either. Something's force closing it. I probably didn't look at my code very clearly. Okay, yeah. What did I do? That was stupid. Oh, that's why. Because I I forgot to put this in here. So it's just saying, hey, as soon as it's set to be open, go ahead and close it again. Well, that would explain things. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, but that's where I was a while ago, and then once I realized that Text Quest wasn't going to be done for like a long time, I was just like, I might as well refactor all of my old code because it's garbage, and I hate looking at it, and it's terrible and inefficient and bulky and massive and just awful all around. So I refactored everything, and then I made everything worse, but I made everything better too, because I literally probably cut my code base in by a third, I want to say, line wise, because I just had a lot of nasty duplicate code everywhere because it was all wrote, it was written when I was, an inexperienced programmer. Okay, doing this. Let's do new game. Chris, yes, normal. Right, blue, yes, and yes. King. Then enter. Haha! And escape. Haha! And escape. Oh, good, good, good. Quit, quit. Now we will try loading up a new game and see what happens. I need to fix that too. For some reason, whenever you start typing start, the S gets shoved to the end of the phrase, so it almost always turns into tarts as opposed to start. Not sure why. Yes, normal. Will be left. What's one I haven't used in a while? I haven't used green, my favorite one. Yes and yes. Super fast because of caching. I'm very glad we did that. Hit enter and escape. Ha 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 ha! Oh. Ah! No! Well, that's just because I know why it's doing that. But, ha! Yes! Ah! For a year it's plagued me, and now I've fixed it. And all it took was like, what, 15 minutes? Maybe half an hour? Feels good. Quit. And yes. And I actually know why this is, we'll basically just be doing this again. Don't need this. Don't need this. Oh, what'd you do? And we'll do UI dot get pause view dot is open. We will close this. Move that. And that should fix all of our problems. Well, that makes me feel good. Knocking it out of the park tonight, programming wise. All tiny, easy stuff to do. And I just never did it. Whew. Need a drink. Alright. Well, what else do I want to do tonight? I might take a quick break because I need to go fill up on water. And we'll be back in like, I want to say 2 to 5 minutes. In the meantime, I have some music that I can actually transition out to. So something I would like to try. I sort of did it on Tuesday, but there was kind of no one watching, and it was kind of a terrible stream. But I would like to start sort of doing outros to my videos with music from games that I've worked on in the past, games that have been canceled, but we still had music files for them, and I actually want to get those out there to help get people to know those composers and just show off some music that I've been able to work with in the past. So I'll be back in like 5 minutes. And in the meantime, you guys can listen to one of the songs from a canceled game called Dusk, which was a Streets of Rage side-scrolling beat 'em up style game, but a lot faster. It was going to be really cool. Shame that we didn't get it done. But anyway, I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. And if you're still on Quantum Thinker and you haven't left yet, thank you for tuning in. Always good to have you. Um, so that was a sort of format for the outro that I'm going to be trying. Um, and I don't know if you guys liked it. Let me know. I would like to try and do that more often, just because one, I prefer it to just having my streams cut off, and two, like I said, it's a really nice way to showcase not work necessarily that I've done because I'm not a composer, but work of people that the work done by people I've worked with in the past, and some quality music that I enjoyed, and I'm sad that I didn't get the chance to use. Um, but that's how it is, I suppose. But you're still around, Garrett. That's good. Um, and I'll be swapping the song out like every week or so, um, until I start repeating. I have a lot, honestly, because I've been on a lot of dead projects, and I've worked with a lot of very talented composers. Um, so I think it'll be fun, and it'll always be fun to talk about the music itself. The first three songs that I'm going to be playing are the theme songs of different bosses from the canceled Dusk game, and each boss had sort of its own theme, uh, where the theme music for each level would slowly progress from a central theme to the boss's theme as you progress through the level, and it was going to be this really nice like musical progression. So I had this like really big sort of oral component of the game that I really wanted to explore. But that's how it goes, I suppose. But I'm glad that you guys liked it, or at the very least, it wasn't you know something that you had to turn off your stereos for. Stereos. Wow, that sounds terrible. Um, which I guess your speakers for. There we go. Anyway, back to coding. So let me think about what we need to do next. Um, we've done the big. I honestly thought that it would take a lot longer to do these things. So let's see. What is another pro? Oh, actually, we need to finish. I'm gonna finish these things up. So currently, if you remember, um, we started off the beginning of the stream going through and getting rid of all of these uh, static classes. So I'm going to see where session is being used. Let's find all references, player, global variables, load animation, save state, blah, 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 blah. That's probably all fine, I think. And we would ideally want to change these to... maybe not. What if I just did this? Instance equals global dot get session. That's a pretty good way to cheat, I think. Then I don't have massive code rewrites. I might have to go back and do that again for the other stuff. Probably should tweet about still airing things, because that's something that's another thing I've been meaning to do for a while on the stream format, is have like a midstream tweet saying that I'm still streaming for like the 5 people who subscribe to me. But I need a screenshot. I don't think I have a good one. Let's see. So I prefer to have one that's a different screen, that's a different level entirely. But I don't really have a good set of art to do that with yet. At least not ones that I haven't already used. So, we'll hold off on that until later, and I'll have to take those screenshots before the stream. It doesn't make sense to try and line them up, now. Anyway, so let's see. What else do we have? Let's go to Music Manager. Pull this up, and we gotta go to its base class. Go to definition, and oof, ooh, that's problematic. So it's gonna get harder there. For stuff like Music Manager, it's a base class in a sort of core group of scripts that I would prefer to keep as simplistic as possible, which means it's kind of hard for me to say that it should try to use my global setup. Because it's definitely easier for things to just spawn themselves in than it is to have the single parent global object that gets spawned in. But at the same time, that means that certain things just might not spawn in properly, or it'll produce more clutter. But I can't really do anything to fix that, honestly, because either I have to make things a lot more sort of simplistic, or I have to break that stuff up and use it in my actual and change the code base for it. So I think what I'm going to do here, I can sort of game the system here and say, let's see, return instance. Oh no, dang it. It's private. Of course, because that's stupid of me. Let's see, let's move that up here. Oh, this is great. So this is fun. I'm trying to make things as flexible as possible for people who don't have my code structure, and at the same time trying to adhere to my own code structure, which is not an easy thing to do. Oh man, that sucks so hard. So, right. I suppose I could look at it this way. It's not going to affect these guys that I'm having trouble with because those have base classes that are used. They're never the first thing to get called, I suppose. Scene loader might be, honestly, but it's problematic. Well, maybe I just can't use that sort of approach. Maybe I do need to just have everything spawn themselves in. No, that's not really a good option. It would be better to just have global. But, well, that's kind of terrible. Because the only way I can think to get around this is to have these individual classes sort of override themselves, but they can't really do that with a get statement since it's static. You can't override a static variable, which makes things problematic. You could conceivably add a new get statement, but then things wouldn't point to it probably. And just a second, my work Slack is going off the charts with people talking. I need to make sure that things aren't on fire at work. It looks like things are fine. Okay. Well, we'll leave things as it is, and we'll just see if we run into a problem. So let's hit play here. Any problems? Nope. Good. We'll go to the root scene. So scenes, other, splash fade, which is the very first scene. Let's see if we get any warnings. We do get some warnings. What is the warnings? It's scene loader and music manager. But they're not the first thing to get spawned in, which is fortunate. Still, I suppose I could do this. If let's see, instance dot transform dot parent equals null. Just do that. So basically, I just want to get rid of those nasty warnings that are saying that you can't set something that's a child of another object to be non-destructible. So we'll just say that if the instance does not have a parent transform, then you can say don't destroy on null or on load. So we'll save that. Go to scene loader. Same thing. I don't know why this isn't lowercase. So load that up. We'll see if it complains again. Once it compiled. Trying to think, is there anything else cool going on in the world right now? Talked a little bit about Amazon Lumberyard, wanting to work with that. Not much on the substance front that I can think of. They're just kind of trucking along. I'm going to go ahead and hit play again. Oh, interesting. What are you doing? Yeah, that was the other thing, how they said like they open sourced the CryEngine basically. I'm like, really? Really? Can you do that? But apparently they can, I suppose, because they branched from it, but still, it's really weird. Well, I mean, Unreal is already, it's not open source per se, but it has a similar thing where, what the hell are you complaining about? This is super weird. I can also just turn this off. Game object is already being activated or deactivated. That's really weird. Whoa. That's... What? Why are there two? I don't... Huh? Okay, well, let's delete that. Let's just revert this, I suppose, for the time being. And we'll play again. Yeah, Crytek's been kind of drowning. So now if we hit play. Console. Weird. Why aren't you showing up until, like, I close? Some objects were not cleaned up. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, that's... Huh. Yeah. No, I'm saying it's... I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I would just like to mess with it, just to see what it can do. Because it... You know, Amazon seems to be making this sort of foray into games. I don't know how far it's going to go, but it would be interesting to see what they do. Because, I mean, they own Twitch, which makes sense a lot more now. Because I remember when they first bought Twitch, everyone was like, really? Amazon? That's super weird. But now it makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what it does, just because it could be interesting to work with. Um, and a game engine that's centered around multiplayer would be interesting, I think. So I'm curious, why are you so evil? Um, hmm. Let's see when this error shows up. So let's revert. Let's clear this. Let's play. Real-time backend GPU rendering? Seriously? Huh. That's really? So like you can offload your GPU rendering to like a cloud server? Now, that doesn't make sense because that would defeat the purpose of GPU render, I would think. No, huh, really? So it's just cloud computing. Huh. I guess that's not new. Um, oh, right. If I hit play again. Weird. Now I'm not getting the error. Huh. Maybe I was just closing at an awkward time. Yeah, it seems fine. There. There, it's not. Huh. Weird. There must be some reason for it. Let's see. See if this fixes it. I doubt it. I don't honestly know what the problem is, but huh, that's interesting. I mean, cloud computing. I don't know how realistic that's going to be for a while, because I mean it's been around for a long, 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 long time, and it had a sort of surge in popularity, at least as like a buzzword for businesses. A couple of years ago. Before that, it was a few years, like 2010-ish, I want to say, with the OnLive stuff. Like cloud-based gaming, and then it recently came back again with Xbox One and PS4. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very practical right now. I think people underestimate the terribleness of most people's internet. Um, okay. I don't know why this is happening now. It is very problematic, and I don't like it. So, let's see. Hmm. What could be causing this? Could be a couple of things. Let me see. It's a UI problem, I think. No, except it can't be. Is it a settings problem, perhaps? That wouldn't make sense either, I don't think. Let me go to instance equals global.get game settings. And we will just add game settings to it. And we'll just hit apply. Hit save. Let's load this up. Huh. I'll have to take a look at that later. Let's go to console. Hit play. Okay. wonder if it's like a UI thing, maybe? Because it seems to be related to UI. If I play here, yeah. If I stop before I get to the new scene, then nothing happens. Um, so let's see. We don't get any errors until we stop playing, basically. Let's try start, and then now let's try. It's only at the login menu too, which is really weird. So we're gonna try this again. So it doesn't have those errors if I stop playing before the title menu or shows up, and it doesn't throw them if I stop playing after the title menu. So let's see if it's the title menu itself that breaks it. So now if I stop playing, okay, so it's something in the title menu. Let's go to title view. Let's see. Close these guys. Let's see. Do we have anything on submit? Update. You know what? Let me test this first. Revert. Okay. Hit play. It would definitely be weird to see Amazon like become this gaming. I don't want to say powerhouse, but like thing. Yeah. Okay. I don't think it was actually an error on my part. It was a UGUI thing. I'm guessing that Control P, when your input field is selected, is doing something weird with UGUI. I bet UGUI isn't cleaning itself up properly when it's destroyed, so it probably just that's what was throwing those errors. For some reason, because it's UGUI. But while we're on the topic of the title view, we might as well fix our input problem. Let's go ahead and do this. Well, why don't we do this? That might actually solve my problem. Looks like it was a weird order. My neck has been terribly stiff for the past few days. I don't know why. Like an old man, like I slipped on it wrong. Alright, let's see what this does. Go through everything. Let's do Control Shift P. I'm gonna go ahead and maximize on play. I ruined it. Crap. Okay, let's try this again. I can't click, because if I click, it'll always work. So I need to just start typing to see if that does it. And see it. Okay. Yeah, I know why. Yeah, see, it only does that whenever we have the UGUI stuff selected. It seems like it's a harmless error. These red lines means that it is a UGUI problem, but uh, okay. So I think this. I guess it doesn't reset it. That's kind of annoying. Let's come back here. Maybe we need to do this for some strange reason. Play. On the topics of engines, I'm still waiting for Source 2, which was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. Also waiting on Vulkan API for shaders. And I'm sad that I'll never get to use Fox. To be fair, I probably wasn't going to get to use Fox anyway, but, you know, it would have been cool to at least have... Dang it, I did it again. Actually, I'm really sad about Fox. That's just a shitty thing to have happen. And star... That's... Okay. So it's like... Huh. Interesting. It highlights it. Crap. Okay, well, what if I just did this? The Fox engine. It's the engine that powered Metal Gear Solid 5. Um, Kojima Productions basically made an engine from scratch, and it's a really impressive engine. It runs really well. It's well optimized, and it looks good. It has some like LOD distance issues, but that's really only noticeable if you have binoculars. And they had made it with the intent that one, they would use it to power their games, but two, they would actually license it. So that means that you would actually be able to use the engine that was powering the Metal Gear Solid series, which was it's really cool. And from what I've heard, it was a really really powerful engine internally. Like they could do a lot of stuff. And they had a lot of really nice dynamic day-night weather effects. So it's really cool. It's just a shame that that's obviously not going to happen now. Um, Dang it. Nothing. It just. Okay. Well. Hmm. I wonder if I could do this. Oops. Oh, wow. That was not what I meant to do. Let's just see what happens there. I honestly don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, they had a lot of good plans for it, and it was going to be really, really nice, from what I heard. And it would have been interesting just to see sort of the pipeline for it. Um, and even more interesting, it would have been depending on how they chose to monetize it, because chances are it was really only going to be a AAA engine, um, not really something indie devs could use. But still, if they had gone specific ways, it would have been interesting to have a Japanese game engine that was in the licensing wars. Um, that would have just been something, because it's all Western developers. You have Unreal, Unity, CryEngine, idTech, Dice, or not Dice. What's is it Dice? What's Dice's engine? Frostbite, not Dice. They're all Western engines because most Japanese developers just make their own engine whenever they make a new game. Um, oh, oh, that seemed to work. I wasn't paying attention though. Let me try it again. Um, so it would have just been interesting to have a high-profile Japanese. Well, RPG Maker is Japanese, but that's not a 3D game engine. Um, that's a little bit different, which sounds condescending. I don't mean to sound condescending there, but it's a different thing. It's a very different thing. It's kind of like Construct in that case, or in that regard. um, where you don't really like. Yes, it is a game engine, and a lot of people use it, but it's not up there in terms of possible output like Unity, Unreal, and all of these other 3D engines are. Dang it! Highlights it. I don't want it to actually select it. Try it one more time. But yeah, all of the big engines are Western. Epic makes Unreal. That's an American company. Unity is made. Uh, I don't know where in Europe, but somewhere in Europe is their actual headquarters. Ah, dang it. Super is way out of date. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I bought one of the RPG Maker engines a while back on Steam, and I was like, oh, this would be cool, and then I just never used it. I'm like, it's easier to code my own stuff, honestly, and it's more flexible. So, who knows? Um, ugh, I will get this. I will freaking get this. So I can't do this. I don't think. I don't think it works, but we'll still try it. But yeah, I'm a big fan, and I have a huge preference for not this like sort of drag and drop sort of controls. I prefer actual coding or scripting, I suppose. Um, yeah, and that's the reason I don't like it, is because it boxes you in so much. And if you want to do anything, oh crap, didn't mean to do that. If you want to do anything different, then you actually have to fight against the engine itself to do it. So, you know, dang it, I clicked again. Gotta stop clicking. Gotta just test it. Freaking. Okay, we'll try this. I mean, Blueprints is pretty decent. It's pretty flexible, but the problem is that you're locked into doing what Blueprints can do. And good God, I hate trying to iterate through loops on Blueprints. Oh, it makes no sense. It's just it's like 10 times faster for me to write a for loop in C++ than it is to try and set up an iterative loop in Blueprints. It's terrible. Blueprints is freaking Blueprints is Unreal 4's visual scripting system, and they touted that thing from the mountaintops when Unreal 4 came out. They were just like, "Oh, blueprints! Everyone should be using blueprints. You programmers that know C++. Yes, you're going to use blueprints, but we want to use C++. Too bad. You're going to use blueprints." Yeah, and if you know any real like any level of programming, really, you don't need blueprints. Um, it really does kind of exist for people who just don't know how to program, which is fine. But if you know how to program, you can usually do things way faster and way more efficiently. um, Although their UI system, last time I tried it, like their UI system is pretty intricately tied to their freaking blueprint system, which drove me crazy because I could not figure out for the life of me how to just script UI. Um, like I couldn't figure out how to say like this is the health bar, and then I have a class that references these objects, and then just allows you to hook things up properly. It doesn't work like that for some reason, so it's just infuriating to try and do. Um, we're really close to getting this right. It's just something kind of annoying. Let's try this. Input. Let's comment this out. Okay. And I'm just kind of sad because I'm fighting Yugui here, which is not really a winning battle. It's not something I can easily win. Um, Maybe not, might not be able to, honestly. You can see it. You get like one frame of how I want it, of it behaving like it should. So selecting the field must reset it. For some reason. So now we arrive back to what it was before, which was we set it to null, put this in front, select it, and then we add text to it. Can I do like title input dot? There's probably nothing that I can do to help this. I would be surprised if I could somehow grab this. Collider, carrot link parade, all this stuff. Yeah. Okay. So this is what the code was originally, which means that we're back to square one. Which is always great. Okay, that's compiled. Let's try running it again. Hit OK, hit OK, hit OK. See, that's so infuriating. Let's try this. Instead of plus equals input. Because the select is on the wrong side of the character. So when you start typing, it goes from start to tarts. Great. Let's try playing again. Great. There's no good way to do it. I honestly don't know a good way to get around this. Title input dot. I doubt there's like an index. Yeah. Well, that kind of sucks. Probably have to look into this to see what I can do. That makes me so mad. Well, anyway, we got a lot done tonight, I think, and it's it's almost 10. So we'll go ahead and let this one go. I'll do some more research tonight and see what I can dig up on it because it's UGUI. It's definitely UGUI. It's not really something that I'm going to have an easy time, I think, getting around. So, with that in mind, yeah, well, the problem is that I don't want it to highlight the text. I just want it to, when you start typing, by default, input field is not selected. So, you know what? Maybe I'm just approaching it the wrong way. Maybe I should just use the. Maybe I should just select it from the get-go. And let me see. This is. Let's see. Let's just do this. See what that does. You press the T to open chat, and then T would appear in the chat window. See, but that's actually what I want it to do. I want it to be, as soon as you start typing, that character goes into the input field. And it used to work, but at some point they changed how they did input fields, and then it stopped working, which is why it's annoying to me. So let's just try this. Basically, instead of having it not be selected, it will be selected as soon as you enter that scene. And I think it's going to do... That's not what I wanted it to do, but that's not terrible. I could just turn its highlight color off, basically. Let's try that. Yeah, I know. Text West. Views, title, prefab, input. Sometimes it's not a coding issue, it's a design issue. Selection color, let's just make you invisible, basically. Okay. Let's try playing again. Oh, yes. Start. Okay. Well, we fixed a lot of like tiny bugs. Tiny things that really, in the long grand scheme of things, aren't that big. But together, they all compound to make the user experience markedly worse. And now we fixed them. Oh, that feels so good. So good. Feels great. So this was a really good optimization pass. Well, not really optimization, but playtesting pass. So now everything's just way better. Cool. I think that's going to do it then for me tonight. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. I might stream Saturday, maybe. Because, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of experimentation with stuff like Lumberyard and DaVinci Resolve for color grading and whatnot. So, depending on if I can get something cool going there, maybe I'll stream and talk about it. But we'll see what ends up happening. So, for now, that's a good programming session. And I'm looking forward to doing more of this sort of playtesting, optimization, smoothing things out, and making things work. Oh yeah, I gotta remember to watch William's stream tomorrow for that. It's hard because he streams in the middle of the day. He streams at 2, he's doing it at 2 p.m., isn't he? That's Central Time. I'm on Eastern Time, so that's 3. That should be fine. It just means I'll be in my office hours. As an AI student. Hooray! So I will do my best to tune into that because I want to. I've been meaning to start watching those anyway. So convenient excuse. But that'll do it for me tonight. Might stream Saturday, might not. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I know. Even if it's archived, though, it's always nice to watch it live. I think there's something more interesting about a live stream than an archive one. I say as I archive all my streams. Anyway, so that's good for me tonight. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.